everybody, I'm Matt and welcome back to Footballing Horizons. Today we're going to be taking a trip down memory lane, back to West London for the 2004-2005 Premier League season. We'll be travelling down the Fulham Broadway to Stamford Bridge for the eventual league winners, Chelsea. Before the rather questionable beginning of the Todd Boehly era at Chelsea, 20 years ago, an unheard-of Russian billionaire named Roman Abramovich purchased Chelsea Football Club in June 2003. Prior to his arrival, Chelsea had endured a barren few decades, just a few cup victories to their name. Abramovich's acquisition of the team, though, would go on to generate the most successful period in the club's history, with them winning 5 Premier League titles, 5 FA Cups, 3 League Cups, and 2 UEFA Champions League in just under 20 years. The main catalyst for Chelsea's newfound success? Money, and huge amounts of it at that. The increase of resources available for transfers and wages enabled them to recruit top-class players and coaches. In the 03-04 season alone, Chelsea spent £121 million, following the next season with a further £94 million. All of this culminating with a team that you can now see on your screens. As you can see, Chelsea built a serious squad, not only going through big money transfers, but also a few more shrewder, cost-effective deals. Petr Cech would join from Rennes in France. At just €10.5 million, it would turn out to be one of the best deals for a keeper in Premier League history. Ahead of him, a central defensive partnership of Terry and Carvalho. Carvalho was acquired from Porto, where he won the Champions League with Mourinho the season before. At fullback, they'd employ Bridge and Ferreira, who was also bought from Mourinho's Porto side. Both of these guys were solid defensively, but they also had license to support the attack. The midfield was anchored with 2 deep-lying players, generally Thiago, and in my opinion, one of the most underrated players in the Premier League era, Lord Makelele. Makelele had joined the year before from Real Madrid. Ahead of them were Duff and Robben, who would both play on the wings. Duff would play out left, where he could utilise his pace to get to the byline and cross the ball into the centre. Robben would be out right, where he could cut in on his left foot and hit those iconic left foot strikes towards goal. In between those two, a 26-year-old Frank Lampard, who thanks to the success of this era would go on to become Chelsea's top goalscorer in the club's history. And up top was Ida Gudjohnsen, a very reliable forward who would go on to be their second highest scorer in the league that season. For rotation, though, they also had Drogba, who was purchased for just €36 million that summer from Marseille. That proved to be another bargain for Chelsea, as he led the line there for the best part of a decade to come. Other important players in the squad included Joe Cole, William Gallas, also Glenn Johnson, who would deputise at right back a lot throughout the season. Looking through this squad, I think the only 2 major transfer misses were Majeta Kezman and Alexei Smertin, who would both leave the club in 05 and 06 respectively. They also loaned out Juan Sebastian Veron and Hernan Crespo, which is quite incredible really, as they deemed them surplus to requirements and allowed them to leave the club altogether. In terms of team performance, Chelsea won the league with a then record 95 points, losing only 1 game out of 38 in the process. They also found success in the League Cup, winning that for a domestic double. The FA Cup and Champions League would elude them, however, with a particularly heart-wrenching Champions League semi-final defeat to Liverpool, who eliminated them 1-0 on aggregate. This was just a brief introduction to the Chelsea team of 04-05, iconic for being the first team to win them a title for 50 years. The Abramovich era got off to a flying start, with silverware pouring into the trophy room. After 4 months of the Todd Boehly era, things still aren't looking very cheery. Only time will tell if they can rebound to the heights which they became accustomed to since their initial takeover in 03-04.